Oh, hey guys, how's it going? Sorry, I was trying to fix my lighting, and I went, "Oh shit, the show's happening."
See, and I was watching the lovely ad right before our show, which is the awkward uh, janitor sniffing the pillow, which always throws me off a little bit. Have you seen that ad?
I kind of don't
The
want it now.
janitor sniffing the
Yeah,
pillow.
it's a Bud Light ad for esports, and it's like a janitor is like sweeping up after an esports, and he gets really close to one of the chairs, and they like zoom in on his eyes, and his eyes get big, and he flares his nostrils a little bit. Then he gets to it, and then he sniffs the pillow.
Because that's advertising to your target audience.
Yeah.
Welcome to Slash Yell, the MMO show. Every week. Sorry.
Creepers unite.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we all are, really.
Yeah.
So every week we go through the MMO gaming news and views and give our opinions and kind of keep you guys up to date on what you do know, what you might not know. My name is Adrock, and this week I have Indigo with me.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And we have a very special guest, and I'm probably going to butcher his name again because I'm that tired. Dizzarian.
Nope.
Yeah!
Dizzarian.
How's it going, guys? How you doing?
Still said it
Yes.
wrong.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, no.
Not a
Thank you
problem,
for coming on. Like seriously, thank you.
So,
First thing we do is we go over slash trade, which is a conversation piece. What we talk about, what we played this week, how our weeks were. Since you're the guest, why don't you go ahead and start us off? How was your week, and what are some of the games you were playing?
Been really good. I've been recording a lot of videos on my YouTube channel.
Which
and,
is
Dizzarian. If you search Dizzarian, Dizzarian, you are going to find me because I'm everywhere, and that is my name.
branding.
Branding, that's right. This week, I've been doing a lot of Star Trek Online. I've started up a new series on my channel, and it's been going really well. It's been well received. And then along with that, I always am covering EverQuest 2 and WildStar, Elder Scrolls Online. I mean, I play. I'm just everywhere. So Secret World.
So pertaining to Star Trek, I know we talked a little bit before, but are you in any kind of way a Trekker, or are you just it's more a fan of MMOs and want to try it out?
The fuck? A Trekkie?
Okay, wait,
asshole.
No. Trekkies hate being called Trekkies.
I thought you guys said no
Trekkers.
religious debates.
Jedi. So I think a friend is comment by Trekkers and Trekkies. It's a racist term. I was just curious.
I've watched Star Trek since I was a kid, so I wouldn't say that like I'm hardcore into it, but I went and saw the recent movie. I see all the movies, so it's in my blood. I'm a dork and a geek, so it's
in the right company.
All right.
Indigo,
Awesome.
how was your week?
My week was pretty good. For the most part, I've been playing a lot of WoW. I've been working on a warlock, leveling a warlock up. I just hit 61 today. My fiance, she was playing a warlock, and she was like complaining about the changes, and I went over to her computer and was messing around with it. I was like, this is actually really cool. I actually like the warlock now. And so I started a warlock, and I've already out-leveled her.
So we'll talk about it a little bit later. I was going to ask about warlocks because I haven't played a warlock yet in a while. I had old fond memories of playing a warlock, but
Gotcha.
Yeah, I used to play a warlock a long time ago.
Yeah, I think my first ever was a warlock, and I think I got to 60. I never even got to max level. And then, anyways, completely different story. Adarac, what about you? How was your week?
my week is just kind of wrapping up the summer with family, and now I have way too much free time that I'm a little like distracting myself for the most part and getting back on track. I've got some videos that I've recorded audio for that I'm doing video tomorrow on. So a lot of Atlas Reactor stuff I'm doing. Got back into WildStar a tiny little bit. I'm still having a little bit of issues with the major cities and optimization, but I think I realized my problem was that I'm not raiding anymore. And I fucking loved raiding in that game with Black Dagger Society and whatnot. And then a little bit of WoW to kind of round it out. Got running a shaman again from ground 0 to 100 in time for Legion. So just
Nice.
that kind of stuff. So that's mostly been my week. A lot of just kind of wrapping up the summer and watching Gravity Falls and then going, this is all too familiar. End of summer has approached.
Anyways,
But we're not here for cartoons.
No.
We're here for games.
so we're going to go right into slash zone, which for anyone, this is your first time. This is where we talk about just the general MMO news this week and what's been going on. So last episode we actually talked about the new classes in Black Desert Online, which is the ninja and the other class the what?
The Kunoichi.
Yeah, that thing.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually downloaded Black Desert Online again because I hadn't downloaded it in a while. And I actually went in and played the ninja, and I actually really enjoyed playing it. Like, it felt really smooth. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, I don't know. It felt good. And it made sense for that character to be as hacky and slashy as it is versus, like, the wizard who's just like, you know, I'm going to beat the shit out of you with a fireball. Like, like the ninja actually felt like he was supposed to go that fast.
Yeah, the combat always feels so good in that game, though. Like,
yeah. Oh no, the combat, it's really smooth. The questing's really weird because you're not gaining XP through it. So it's like, why do I even do the quest? I should just run around and grind. But then you're like, I'm literally just grinding. This is boring.
Now I want like a war mage archetype based on what your comment was, where he like attaches a fireball magically to his staff and just work. I kind of want that in Black Desert, like the war mage, just start throwing shit on top of your staff and using it as like a melee weapon or something.
But because I think I'm the only one out of our little group here that plays Black Desert Online. I usually have to wait until like Krug and Adderok go to bed before I can actually play, because they're like, let's play this one game, and I was like, all right, cool.
Some of us are poor,
and so I'll play it, and then they'll all go to bed because I have problems sleeping, and I'm just like killing shit in Black Desert until like 2 a.m. I'm just like, oh, I'm still in the starting zone.
What level are you? What level are you guys?
Fuck if I know. I just keep playing.
Yeah, from what I understand, the progression's like constant in that game. Like, you're always progressing towards something.
Yeah,
right?
there's soft leveling caps where it just makes it more difficult to level. But I think the amount of time that I played the ninja, I think I got to like level 11, and that's only been like a week of playing. So it's not that hard to level in that game. It's really, really not, especially if you don't mind just standing around killing shit because you can. But
yeah, that's in my videos. I did Black Desert Online up till about 20, and yeah, it was always just like, oh shit, I gained another level. Like,
yeah, because you're like,
let's keep killing.
Yeah, because you're not doing quests, and that's kind of what we're used to doing, is questing and leveling when we're supposed to level via the game. But it's kind of just like, yeah, no, you can sit there and kill foxes for like 6 hours and just level, like, if that's the thing you want to do.
Does anyone else find it ironic that for a long time, a lot of MMO players are saying, we don't want Grindfest, and now there's a glut of games coming out where it's like, look, let's be honest, it's kind of going back to Grindfesty. Don't give a shit, it's so pretty. Grind. Is it just me, or does I find that a little odd?
Well, there's always these different camps, right? Yeah. You know, and they're always very vocal. You know, like you got the PvP camp and you got the grinding camp. You know, because a lot of the Eastern MMOs are very grinding.
Oh, that's literally what they are.
Super Grindfest. Ragnarok Online, anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a huge grinding fan, but like I don't know if it's me. It doesn't feel like a grind. Like like when you're playing World of Warcraft, it's, hey, go kill 10 of these things and then come back, and then go kill 20 of these things and then come back. Oh, and collect these things that drop from these guys when you kill them and then come back. Versus this, which is like, dude, just fucking kill shit. Like, kill whatever you want. Just go for it. Like, the whole world is your oyster to kill and murder horrendously and leave just
a pile of the inner psychopath inside of you.
Yeah, and so while it is a grind, it doesn't feel like a grind as much. You're just literally just like, meh. Oh, I learned a new ability. I want to try this out for the next 15
right.
minutes.
It only doesn't feel like a grind because the combat is so good.
Exactly. 100%. But that, I just wanted to kind of touch on Black Desert. There isn't actually any new news for Black Desert Online. It's just, I just wanted to give my opinion on it.
So basically, it's better than you thought it'd be, playing Ninja.
Oh yeah, the Ninja's great.
That's what we're here for.
The next piece we're going to go into is we're actually going to go into Blade and Soul. A new patch, Shadow of the Innocents. It's patch 2.5. There's a ton of actual information and notes in here. We don't usually go through all of them, but I just took a couple. So for general, new daily dash is available, and you'll be able to run them from 7:20 through 8:24. The title treasures event is live, and you'll be able to run through that as well, the 20th through the 24th, the 7:20 through 8:24. For PvP, the title of equipment, some other fucking word, I don't know.
Another currency.
Yeah.
To that.
The season 3 PvP rewards have been updated to provide more moonstones and have a smoother overall distribution of value. Have you either of you been playing Blade and Soul at all?
I played a little bit of Blade and Soul until I was killing children for some reason. And I decided I didn't want to do that anymore. I really dislike Blade and Soul.
Yeah, I think I never wanted to play it, but I know Adderrock and Krug were like, "No, this game's pretty cool," and then like they played it for a while, and I was like, "Sure, I'll play it with you guys." And
Krug had a lot of fun with PvP.
Yeah,
because he got high enough to be competitive in it. Myself, I was interested in the PvP, but the PvE was too. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't my flavor. I'm not a fan of non-Holy Trinity games because I feel like it just evolves into a Smash Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah, super had no interest, and yet we still talk about it. Yeah, anyways,
I still jump back because
it's very popular. I mean, like one of my highest played videos is my Blade and Soul sit videos, and I don't understand why. Because I sit there and I hate on it the whole time I'm playing it.
Maybe that's why they like it. They're like, yeah,
maybe.
But we tell each other all the time. We went back into X game and Y game after not playing it for a little while, and I do that once. I've done that once before Blade and Soul. And playing with the characters are fun. The combo systems, going in, moving into skills are fun. But I'm such a big PvE guy because I can never reliably have a fun time with PvE and MMOs. PvP, even though I still play it randomly, I'm so like hypocritical like that. But it threw me off so much. Like this is just an instance game. I love the characters. I love the animations. I don't mind the setting. I like Wuxia. It just for some reason wasn't clicking every time I got to a certain point. It's like I don't.
Also for me, like the translation was horrendous. Like I couldn't get past it.
Yeah.
It was just. I mean, like in my videos, I read a lot of the dialogue. You know, that's part of what I do, and it was just unreadable. I mean, like I was just stumbling over everything. It was just terrible. So yeah, bring on the hate because I do not like that game.
Yeah, I'm still probably gonna jump on and load it up again sometime in the next few months.
Well, you'll be the only one. So SWTOR, Adderrock, why don't you take this because I don't care.
So I'm gonna give you something, but honestly, there's not a whole lot to it, and I've been trying to look for it the last God knows how many hours I've had it on here. So basically, August 11th, we have another chapter coming in for SWTOR, the Knights of the Fallen Empire storyline, and that is going to be Chapter 16, the Battle of Odyssin. You're basically going to take a giant fleet and a last-ditch fight against Arkan, which, if you don't know who that is one of the big bads in the story. SWTOR is basically deciding, you know what? This is now KOTOR 3. Fucking deal with it. You're never going to get a traditional single-player game, so we will meet you halfway in the middle, and with Knights of the Fallen Empire and the Knights of the Eternal Empire, the next expansion coming out, we're just going to give you storylines that we were going to do anyway. And you'll have MMO components, but for all intents and purposes, it's a single-player game again.
No,
so are you saying that you think that it's winding down, like that they're just throwing out the content that they have, and this is coming to an end?
I actually have the opposite idea. I honestly think that ever since the merger with Disney and the categorizing SWTOR as legends and the only active legends in and free-to-play being so profitable for them, I feel like this is our opportunity to just go balls to the wall. I have a feeling they'll be gone for. It's not like DDO and Lord of the Rings, which are sunsetting essentially really soon and going into maintenance mode. I have a feeling SWTOR will be going around for a while and expect it to just be a little bit crazier each time. Like Knights of the Fallen Empire was a fucking 300-year time skip. Not 300 years, a long enough, big enough time skip that people were like, "Oh shit, so and so's dead, so and so's gone, so and so's in hiding. What's happening?" And they're just like they just said literally we reset the whole world and fuck it all. Here's the aftermath of everyone getting their shit wrecked.
Yeah, my issue is that EA and Disney have just like they're milking the shit out of Star Wars right now. Like if you look at the total number of titles of Star Wars games coming out, there's no way that they're getting rid of this one. You know what I mean? Like they're literally just like, hey, you know that game that we just made like maybe like 6 months ago that's doing really bad? Yeah, we're doing a sequel already because it made money.
Here's also another reason why I think it's not going to sunset anytime soon is that unlike Battlefield or Battlefront, there hasn't been that much of a drop off in terms of subscribers since Episode 7 came out for Souls War. They've had a pretty steady retainer.
Now, I actually enjoyed playing it. The only issue I had with it is when you got to a certain level, it's like, hey, unless you've bought this expansion, you're going to get these trash items that are way better than what you have, but you can't get them because
still really bad free options. Yeah,
that's the problem I hate with it. Like, you need
to be honest though, man. Once I started playing for those few months and got the chapters in for Knights of the Fallen Empire, they were fucking great.
Hey, we were playing. I was having a great time playing. I just had the issue of once we start getting those items, like it shouldn't be dropped items. If I don't
beyond that, if you can get a level 50 to start doing Knights of the Fallen Empire stuff, the game gets amazing again. But it's again a free outfit, their free setup is just not that great at all. And you're right, you got to that point where it's like, what the fuck? I can't unlock this item because it's literally locked behind the paywall.
Exactly.
And do they have level boost up to that content?
I believe they do. Once you purchase Knights of the Fallen Empire, you get one level 50 boost, and you can also purchase other additional boosts. But going back to Battle of Odysseus, Chapter 16, it's mostly the reason why I'm not talking more about it is that other than that last stand battle with Arkan, there's not a whole lot of information on it, which is surprising. The chapters themselves have kind of clocked into, I believe, when I played them, an average like 3 to 4 hours each. So they're surprisingly meaty for being episodic, which means so far with 16 chapters at an average of 3 to 4 hours, you've got a good chunk of gameplay to go on, that's a whole fucking game.
Yeah.
So that's that. If you spend the money on it, I believe it's worth it. So Battle of Odysseus drops August 11th. I'm curious again, but I don't know what else there is about it other than just the announcement.
Gotcha. they haven't really. I think they're just preparing for the next expansion. I don't think they're going to be doing much publicity for this as much as they are doing for the next.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not to mention any tie-ins they can make with Rogue One, because that's coming out in December. And they did the same thing with Episode 7. They had a whole bunch of tie-in stuff. They had the crossguard sabers in the same time that Episode 7 came out. So.
Well, the last piece of news for Slash Zone this week is actually World of Warcraft news, which is super surprising that there's actually Warcraft news. Oh, wait, it's actually videos to promote Legion. Sorry.
Don't care, they're awesome.
No, they are really, really awesome. They had...
Why are they awesome?
Have you seen them yet?
Yeah, I watched them.
You don't like them? You're a horrible human being.
Well,
I know.
I'm a fan of motion comics, and this kind of fits in that.
And maybe that's my problem. Is I'm not really a fan of that style.
Yeah,
to me it seems like lazy. So that's always the reason I'm not that big.
A lot of people really despise that because it's true. Like, people are like, why don't you just pay extra money to get the in-betweens? There's that argument, but really there's a lot of fun you can do with the motion comic style that can convey that kind of short story fairy tale style of storytelling. But the stories themselves are really background filler for Legion. Now, they did this with Nissa Pandaria with the Trials of Zhao Hao, I believe his name was. They also did it for Warlords of Draenor, which was the Warlord series, where Murad was talking to Varian about each of the Warlords and himself.
They did the same kind of stop motion?
Yeah, not stop motion. It's more like motion comic style.
Sorry, yeah, but they did the same. I didn't.
Yep.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, I have.
If you get a chance, it's on the World of Warcraft YouTube page. I think it's called Warlords, the actual series.
Okay,
they're just as great. They introduce all the Warlords a little bit, and then Murad as well. But these two, I think they're doing 5 in preparation for Legion. So Gul'dan just came out, and an important thing to note, because I'm a big lore hound, is that this is not the Gul'dan that we know from our playthroughs of Warcraft 3 to World of Warcraft. This is the backstory of the Gul'dan from the alternate Draenor universe. So unlike our Gul'dan, which was a shaman with Ner'zhul and learned his thing through the spirits, and then was tricked by them and then said, well, fuck it, let's get some power anyway. This Gul'dan was an invalid who was left to die and was rejected by the Earth. and Draenor itself, and then found power through the Fell.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that World of Warcraft has alternate timelines like Bizarro World? And, like,
blame Warlords of Draenor for that.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Draenor
Did you say that there was going to be 5 of these? I thought there was only going to be 3.
I had heard 5. I could be wrong. I knew there was at least going to be.
So for their teaser trailer, they specifically say that there's going to be a Gul'dan, Khadgar, which we've seen, and then your bromance.
Then I'm probably really wrong on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's only gonna be the 3. So mind you, they also did a teaser trailer, then they did a Gul'dan preview, and then they did Gul'dan, which I didn't understand that. They're like, why did you give me a 16-second trailer for a 6-minute video that you're going to post within days of each other?
Welcome to my world with teasers for teasers.
Like, I was super lost about that. Maybe that's the 5 you're talking about. There's the teaser trailer. There's the preview for Gul'dan. Anyways.
So, but basically, it's a giant lore dump. So if you're a lore fan, it's awesome. Plus, the Khadgar video made some pretty big implications, especially for fans of the lore in in Warcraft, because there's a specific character that Khadgar and the Harbinger series has pretty much said, yeah, we're just going to ignore all of that and just go away. We don't like you anymore. Which is a character by the name of Medan, which was the was the love child of like 2 other characters, Garona and someone else, Medivh. And he was the Guardian. And in the Khadgar video, they're like, we need a Guardian. Khadgar's like, fuck that. We don't need no Guardian. Let's all do it together as friends. Friendship is forever. Legion coming out August 30th.
I don't even know what just happened, but I wish someone would animate.
I kind of zoned out until the song started.
Basically, they're not only are they establishing what's happening before Legion, and they also have the Legion comics, which I kind of really want to talk about. We don't have time for. But they also are cleaning house into their own past.
Yeah.
They're establishing a more brutal Gul'dan. They're establishing a much more competent Khadgar to make you feel like you are not just working with someone who's just like, I'm a wizard, I'm cool, as well as getting rid of all the shit that just doesn't really work.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
QueueTimes seal of approval.
Demon Hunters.
The best. Anyways, so that's it for Slash Zones. We're actually going to go into what's the actual larger part of news this week, which is LFG. This is any discussions in beta, in games that are on PTR, basically stuff that's not open for every single person in the world to go out and play right now. So who got this first piece of news?
I did.
Okay, go for it.
So we've talked about him once before on here, but Albion Online is going into its final beta on August 1st. For those of you who don't remember Albion Online, it's another one in the current, I don't want to say trend, but the current wave of MMOs crossing over with games like survival games, like, say, Minecraft, Dust, where it's not just about having a world and a place to explore and be in, but to also shape the world to your whim to an extent and degree.
Okay.
I kind of get the feeling that it's trying to be more like Eve on the ground.
Kind of, yeah. It's definitely encroaching more on Eve, and then also, if you've been listening to Indigo's just masturbatory moments, Crowfall, where it's much more of a simulator where you're influencing the player economy, you're warping the world around you, you're claiming territories for your own, and your PvP kind of comes because of that. And if you're still curious, they still have the beta for their website, which you can still go. And part of their big draws, they are supposedly completely cross-platform between Windows, Mac, Linux, and Android. It's got a pretty decent art style, which I kind of enjoy. And I figured since LG is the place to talk about games that are coming out, this is the place to talk about it, because Albion is one of the many games, thankfully, that are not just, we're in development. Like, yeah, no, we're almost fucking done, guys.
Yeah, and it looks pretty cool. This I don't remember talking about this game, but I
mentioned it a few times.
This trailer. Yeah, probably. Don't listen to you guys. But this trailer looks really cool. I'm digging it. It's top down, which isn't my favorite form of MMO, but it looks really interesting.
It's also got a little mini documentary feel when they're explaining the game mechanics and like, this is the way that the caravan goes out. It's a dangerous world out there.
Well, and that's just the thing. Like to me, like it was like trying to play off those old Eve videos, like where it's like, oh, you're just one man, but then you shape the universe and everything else. So it was like, to me, it was harkening back to that. Like it was trying to say, hey, look, we're Eve on the ground, and we're going to, you're going to take territory, and just because you're a miner, you can affect what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Which I mean, is a good sales pitch. I just don't think it appeals to me.
Yeah.
Because I was, I signed up for Crowfall this week. I went ahead and pitched in my money and everything else. And I was looking at Albion, and I was just like, I'm just not. It's not going to be my thing.
Albion's got a similar style to Crowfall as well, but they leaned heavily on the top-down perspective as well as the cell shading style graphic.
Yeah. Well, it looks like
they definitely agree. It's like it kind of appeals and it kind of doesn't. And it's definitely throwing in like.
It's interesting. Like I want to pay attention to it, but I'm not going to pay the $100 Founders Pack. Right. Maybe we can
cheaper options.
Maybe we can convince Krug to pay for it, but
go fuck yourself.
For those of you who don't get that joke, Krug spent $100 getting into Black Desert Online, and then I think played it for like 30 seconds. Wow.
you want to make a comment.
He's not.
That's like what? That's like $33 an hour.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Shut up.
Well worth it.
So
well made.
There are a couple Founders Packs options. There's the $29.95, a $49.95, and then the $99.95 option. I do like the beta access. So if you pay $100, you get starting August 1st, 2016. If you pay the $50 one, starts August 2nd, 2016. And if you pay $30, you start August 3rd. So the difference between August 1st and August 2nd is $50. Like,
and all drinks outrageous prices.
Yeah.
I wish you get a shot glass for this. Or
in the Twitch chat, he's one of our listeners said that 1-900 numbers used to cost that much.
Yeah, right.
That's some good bourbon. Anyway.
Anyway, so we'll move on to the. Oh, sorry. Did you have something else?
I was gonna say that we were talking about all these LFG games coming out, and I know Dizzarian said it as well, and I kind of agree with the sentiment. X game really is cool, but not for me. But I love the fact that we're finally having, not finally, there's more and more games willing to take that risk and try something different.
Absolutely.
Bringing back Star Wars Galaxy Physics, bringing back more EVE Online stuff. So I'm
all for that. I'm like, and even Black Desert Online, which hasn't like really hooked me. Like, I love what they're trying to do with it. Like, I love all these different styles of MMOs that are coming out, and they're experimenting a little more. It's like they've gotten away from that, or at least the bigger AAA titles have. Yeah. So it's nice to see, these crowd-funded ones actually taking chances and doing it.
Seriously, the thing I love talking about the most is the fact that so many of these MMOs are being crowdfunded, and like how open and honest they're able to be more because they're being crowdfunded versus being, funded by a production company that's like, no, you can't say shit about this game until it's 100%. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyways, speaking of fucking amazing games.
Speaking of crowdfunding.
So Crowfall this week, as always, has a tremendous amount of information releasing. So what they're talking about right now is they're talking about the building ballista, kind of showing you how ballistas work, some of the limitations to the ballistas, some of the advantages, how they're going to work. It's super simple. There's a plot that can get a ballista. You walk up to it, hit the activation button, and it builds. You choose which one it builds, and it builds that one. Like, it's not hard. It's not difficult. And then they also posted, but they made an entire video for it. So why the fuck not? I didn't understand the point of that video, to be completely honest. Either. And then, like, in the same week, they're like, here's another video on the animation for it, which I'm not the most satisfied with the animation and like the audio for it. Like, if you watch it, it sounds like the old Warcraft peons building something in the background where you hear like a hammer in the background. Like, it's not the best sound effects, and then it's just kind of like it's a tower and there's like some small thing, and then a puff of smoke happens, and then it's halfway built, and then a puff of smoke and it's fully built. Like, I don't know. It's not the most satisfying animation I've seen, so I'm not like the happiest with it. But I don't know. They shared it. I thought I would share it with you guys. I don't know. I mean, Krug not Krug, Adderrock, did you have a chance to see any of that stuff? Like
The Crowfall stuff, I've been I get it from you, and I'll look at a little bit on the video. But any of the in-depth stuff, I'm really waiting until I get my alpha invite. So a lot of the stuff that when I look at it, the stuff like the Ballista stuff, and the way the Siege Perilous stuff works, I'm like, I can wait, even though we have the format where we have to look at it.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in stuff like the animations and whatnot. And that's what I'm looking at, and stuff like the kits of her characters. I'm like, I can wait till I get a chance to touch it with my hands, because Crowfall, I'm so on the fence on. It's like, you intrigue me, Game of Thrones imitator, but I don't know if I will love you like the way you should be loved.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the fence, but at the same time, when I was looking at it this week, I was like, well, I'm going to play it. Like, I might as well get it now. And
when they did their 8-hour or their 12-hour live stream, I chipped in on that day because they were giving free shit away for anyone that supported that day. They're like, you're gonna get extra shit, and I was like, well, I was gonna join anyway, so why the fuck not? So I chipped in that day, and we've gotten to play, I think, once. Krug and myself has gotten to play once, and I really enjoyed just the combat, like, other than the fact that it was a little bit laggy because of where the server locations were.
Yeah, our talk about the druid and the way that kit works, still, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're not that. You just let it be. Let it be.
I don't know.
But you were talking about animations, and they actually released the Myrmidon death animation. And like they actually did a live stream of them making it, and then the actual animation itself. It's really funny. Like it's their whole premise behind the Myrmidon is the fact that it's gonna run in there, run and gun. Its job is to kill. If you do stupid stuff, he's gonna go down swinging, and that's literally what he does. His death animation, he's just like, meh.
It's a super long death animation. I'm surprised by it. Like I wonder how much of it will survive to the launched version of the game, because typically when you're talking about games, there's constant action happening and everything going on with like Siege and whatnot. Having a 15-second death animation
it's not 15 seconds.
It's surprisingly long.
Oh my god!
I'm not complaining about it. I'm just wondering if it's gonna end up translating, because they do a lot of cool stuff in the streams. Like, hey, you have an idea for, like, maybe I'm stuck on the way this positioning should be. You should have
really depends. It really depends on how often you die, right?
Yeah.
If it really
that
if it's all the time, that's going to get old fast. But at the same time, like if it's a really is a dramatic event, a 15-second animation makes sense, right? And that's okay.
Yeah, and here's the other thing is if you're on a 30-second death cooldown after you die,
right? Why not fill it up with half of it being an animation?
Exactly. Who the fuck cares? I'm still gonna wait 30 seconds. I can wait 30 seconds staring at my dead body, or spend half of it watching my Myrmidon like try to kill things as it falls. Like, fuck off.
I'm not complaining about it. I'm just thinking
yes, you are. That's all you ever do.
I'm just thinking about what's happened in the past, and people are like, "This is awesome," and they see it happen over and over. Like, okay, guys, can we move along the parade here? And it's like, that's what I'm curious if that'll happen again, because I'm just saying. I'm not saying from my personal experience. I'm just saying from what I've gathered from other people being not happy with stuff like that, or being like, it's too long, it's too dumb.
Well, someone in chat said games don't have enough death penalties. Now, there you go. Your penalty is to watch 15 seconds of you dying.
Yes.
This is a QueueTimes server announcement. That death animation is objectively 6 seconds long.
Still surprisingly long for a death animation.
I mean, it's better. The
easy.
fact is that each one of them is going to have their own death animation, which kind of adds to it. I like that idea.
Yeah, can you imagine a field full of these guys all dying at once, and they're all like moaning and groaning? And
I'm giving Crowfall that. They're definitely putting a lot of handmade touches. I mean, everyone is, but for some reason, the way that Crowfall's animation team is approaching, the way skills are let off, and the way that they're modeling
except for when they are gods, and instead of using their pick, their axe, or whatever to get wood, or they decide to just do this one animation, but you're still required to carry a pick with you for some fucking reason.
Yeah. Animate everything.
They're like, hey, instead of having different animations for each one of these, we're just gonna do one animation.
Saves on the budget.
Yeah. Anyways, so the last thing I'm going to talk about Crowfall about is the founders update. So some of the things that they're talking about is that every game has those people that want to make money off of them. So, gold farmers or item transfer people. So what they've done is they've done what a lot of companies are starting to do now, which is having groups that do this, but do it under their eye. And so they call it the trusted traders. So these are people that you can actually spend real money to buy stuff in game, or instead of going to the gold farmers, instead of going to these other places, they're trying to cut out those people that are trying to ruin the game and giving it to a small group of people. I don't know how I feel about that, because I don't like people being able to buy gold and stuff like that, because games become pay to win in that sense. But at the same time, they're kind of in a point where they're trying to figure out ways to stop people from doing this shit. And like, even WoW can't do that. And that's the juggernaut, and so everyone's just trying to find their own means to go about it.
Right. At least they're looking at it on the front end instead of whenever they actually have a problem.
Exactly. Like, oh shit, we have hackers. Oh, we should have thought of that like 6 months ago when we were making the game, when we could have made these changes. So,
right.
The other thing is they're getting rid of some of the stronghold. There's a couple. They're changing how the Kickstarter is doing. They're getting rid of some stuff, and they're increasing the pricing at the end of August, which is next month. So you guys have a month before you guys lose some of your in-game options. And then the last thing that they're talking about is the stronghold prices. Oh, which is what I just talked about. Stronghold prices are going up at the end of August. And they said, we are moving to prefab strongholds to build from component model. Sorry. Component modes. So there you go. That's the last bit of news for Crowfall.
Wait, when you say stronghold prices, does that mean you're buying it with real money or with in-game currency?
I believe, no, this is how you can get,
oh, the different tiers.
The different tiers, exactly. So they're getting rid of some of them and increasing the prices of others. So as they get closer and closer to the game, they're actually going to remove like the options, like the ones where it's like enter Alpha 1. Well, Alpha 1 was, months ago.
Already happened.
Yeah, so you can't buy into Alpha 1 because it doesn't exist anymore. So they're basically getting rid of some of these options so that, and then they're turning around and increasing the prices of the ones that are left over for those people that are just getting into the game.
Sounds fair enough.
Sounds reasonable. Sounds like a business plan. I don't have an issue with it. Just giving people the information. You know what I mean? Like, you want to get in the game, do it sooner rather than later. We
had it up for this amount of time. You didn't get in yet. I don't know what to tell you.
Right, and that was one of the interesting things when I was actually buying that, is that actually it tells you what level you're at. Like, you are pre-whatever level. So it means that later on they may say that certain levels get certain things. So
before we move on,
kind of good to jump in now.
Yeah.
If you haven't have any chance that you might play it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What groups of alpha were you guys in?
Krug, while you're not doing anything, can you find out what level we're at?
2.
Thank you.
That's the level I'm at then.
I'm in Alpha 6. I want Alpha 6 to be here already.
Well, yeah. So I got into the Alpha level when I signed up, just because I signed up for Crowfall before they really started advertising stuff. But I really did want to support the game, and I know I'm going to play the game at least for a few months, at least trying it. And the fact that we have a gaming website, like, it's almost requirement for me to play this game. So I said, fuck it, might as well get in early.
I love the justification. Honey, I'm buying the pre-package. Why? It's for my job. Here's my job. Yeah, I'm buying it now.
Here's a little backstory to that. Actually, there was a very similar conversation to this. So we have so she does all the finances for QueueTimes, and we send her our receipts, which she yells at me for not doing on a regular basis, so that we can track all of the money that we spend for the website. And I said, I gotta put this I gotta give you a receipt to get into this alpha access. And she's like, why do you need to get into the alpha access? And I was like, oh, well, it's to get in there so we can test the game and like try it out and create some content for it. She goes, it sounds like you just want to get into a game early. And I was like, no, it's not.
You know what she should ask you? Is there an NDA? Then you don't need to buy it.
There isn't an NDA. So, yeah, so there was like an actual like moment of like me being harassed. Like, okay, QueueTimes is not paying for you to have fun and play games. Okay, we're gonna pay for stuff. And I was like, first of all, it's my goddamn money. Second of all,
This is how corporations fail. It's my goddamn money. I'll spend it how I want. It's
I like how
fine.
she's clamping down on it. That's
yeah,
right.
exactly. Anyways, you wanted to talk about Dark and Light, which we found out is an MMO previous to this.
Yeah, so Dizzarian and I were talking about it when I brought it up before the show, and I said, hey, there's a Chinese game coming out called Dark and Light. Used to be a game called Savage Horizon, and Dizzarian's like, I played this game.
Well, actually, I played the
way.
original Dark and Light.
So
it was called Dark and Light back in the day, and it was like
came out
originally
2006.
And the reason I mean, and I jumped on it hard. I mean, I was pushing it. I was excited because this was. I started out in Asheron's Call, so it's like my love of MMOs starts with there. And the reason I love this was because it seemed so open world. I mean, it was actually seamless world and everything else. And not only that, you had like gliders and everything else. I mean, like it was revolutionary, supposedly, whenever it was coming out. But it just ran unplayable. There were like no mobs to kill. And it was just like they stole our money. And it was very bad.
and from what I'm gathering, I believe not Snell Games. Snell Games is taking over development now, but the guys that did Dark and Light beforehand also had Age of Wushu, and there's a little bit news on that in just a moment. And that's kind of been the consensus. Like this game, its big drawing point was the fact that it was a massive fucking game, 40,000 square kilometers.
Oh yeah, it used to always do that. Yeah, like that was like all the advertisement about it was just how big and massive it was.
But it's easy when
you couldn't go anywhere. Yeah, whenever you can't actually get there because of the lag or whatever, it's like does no good.
And I did put some footage in our links. We might hopefully get them into the show notes for you guys to look at to show what the game used to run like. I believe this is the actual game footage. Could be wrong. I hope I'm right. But also the new game trailer for it because now they're redeveloping it with the Unreal 4 engine, but still keeping those taglines like it's a massive game with no load times. And you remember Star Wars Galaxy where you can like level up as a merchant? You could do it here and that kind of stuff. And Snail Games, who's developing it, also said, hey, we're gonna put out an Age of Wushu 2. So if you like that, that's also coming out. An Age of Sail 2, which if you liked that, I guess that's coming out again. So
basically, they're just peddling the same shit they've been peddling for the last 10 years, and it's
with a new coat of paint.
Right, and the Unreal 4 engine, which I can't imagine handling a world as massive as they're claiming. So,
oh man, I wonder what kind of a rig you really need to run this game.
I mean, I'm watching this video, the footage that you sent. It doesn't look that great. Like
the 2016 trailer.
Oh, is that no, the Dark and Light Savage Horizon gameplay footage?
Yeah, the gameplay footage that supposedly was gameplay footage from this one put in there, and it's not great either.
Is this the 2006 one or is this the current one?
That's the 2006 version you're looking at.
Oh, okay. I was like,
this is Dark and Light Savage Horizon.
That looks like the old version.
Yeah, I was like, that doesn't look like real Unreal Engine 4.
Which at the time, that looked
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. At the time, it looked great. It just doesn't look good 6 years later.
And chat was saying, that's a good idea. Make a, quote, biggest game ever. And honestly, 10 years ago, that was all you really needed to break in money. Dizzarian just proved. It's like, fuck yeah, biggest game ever? Bigger than this game? Hell, where's everything?
It's like, oh, I'm going to go. Because that was the great thing about Asheron's Call is like, and I used to tell all of my friends, like, whenever I was getting them to play and stuff, it's like, you see that mountain over there? Let's go.
You can go,
right?
What?
And we would start running, and like it would like
absurd.
Right. And when you fire up Dark and Light, you're like, all right, I'm gonna go over to that mountain. Nope, I'm not.
I'm gonna log out now and go play Warcraft 3.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
So Dark and Light is in development again. If you want to see what the fuss was about, and maybe Snell Games has upped its game. We'll keep you updated.
Hey, if it does, that's awesome. I can't wait. I'm still on board. I'm still on board with all the promises. Give it to me, but I doubt it.
That's what looking for groups all about. This whole section's like, is it gonna? I hope it comes out. Let's see what happens. And then also like a real brief aside before we continue on with it with Guild Wars 2, because we mentioned a few weeks ago that the Out of the Shadows is coming out, the new expansion for it for Heart of Thorns. There is a data mining. We'll put the link in the description of some of the armor that's been shown for Out of the Shadows, and it looks like pretty. It looks pretty. Like Guild Wars 2, every time they do something new, they up their game. It's super pretty. I just wanted to like make that known. Like,
it's like, and I like the skulls on the belt. It's very dark, kind of like gonna like it seems really shiny, but I think that's probably the light that they're using for this animation.
Yeah, render animation light.
Yeah, exactly. But I can't. I imagine that these will look a little darker and a little bit more ominous in game lighting.
The colors are definitely interesting, like, but it's armor dye, so you can do it.
Yeah, you can
dye. I was trying to say, you can dye this any way you want. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wait until
everything.
Just go to the back one and look at the black and red one. That's the cool one.
Is it weird that I haven't logged on to Guild Wars 2 because my ex-girlfriend still can't find me on the game?
You know you can block people, right? That's a thing.
I only have her on my friends list. I don't have even you guys on my friends list. Well, I tried to log back in, and it was I literally had an alert. So and so is on here, and I went, who? And I had a whisper, "How's it going?" Oh shit, it's you!
Wow, you're just a horrible human being. You should move over to.
He's not. That's real life problems right there. I've done it.
See? I often don't have a significant other that play games with me, so that's why I'm always I'm honestly a little like jealous, and I'm like, oh, your fiance plays with you? That's fucking cool. And then I had a girlfriend that played with me, and then I was like, yeah, we don't talk anymore. How are you still finding me on these? Oh yeah, you're on my friends list in Guild Wars 2.
Thank you for the show title, Doc.
Oh, I'm not a horrible person, am I? Anyway,
let's talk about StarCraft Universe.
Please.
Okay, so Adarok found this piece of news, and first of all, he teased Krug for like 10 minutes before he was willing to share a link or the name of it.
That is the best part of it.
Yeah, and then he shared it, and then we all went,
Okay, so let me tease chat.
Okay, go for it.
StarCraft Universe. What would you say if I told you?
If you told me that there was a StarCraft MMO, I would call you.
If you will.
I would call you a liar, like I did earlier today. I'd say, you liar. Don't tease my heart in such ways.
Don't play with me.
Don't play with me, Ricky Bobby. All right.
So basically, there's gonna be a lot of like
the word technical over and over.
Technically, is gonna be happening a lot right here. So there technically does exist a StarCraft MMO. Sort of. It's really just a really well done mod with assets from StarCraft 2. And you're wondering yourself, well, why hasn't Blizzard have a cease and desist? Because they're not marketing it as an MMO, but they kind of are, but they're marketing it to also say it's a StarCraft 2 mod. Mod Activision, it's a mod Activision. Activision, it's a mod. We did get a Kickstarter for it. We did get an Indiegogo for it. We did get funded a lot of money for this, but it's not really our project. We're just using a modification of your existing engine and following your rules. So, I mean, yeah, we're cool, right? And so far, it's been in development for 5 years.
Which blows my mind, by the way. That's the part that blows my mind the most. The fact that it's been in development through two forms of funding and hasn't gotten a cease and desist.
By a studio, not a group of people. They're considering themselves a studio. Upheaval Arts has created this. They have a whole bunch of shit. They have forums. They have social media. This is not like when you create Dota 2 and you have a forum based for it. This is like, yeah, no, we have a Kickstarter. We have a thing for it, a storyline for it. Oh, but technically it's not what you think it is. It's a modification. But you can check it out. It's doable. You can go, if you have StarCraft 2, if you bought StarCraft 2, you can find it in the Val.net store.
And it's going to be for free because of the Indiegogo people and the people that funded it. It's going to be a free mod.
And what makes it an MMO?
Massively multiplayer online role-playing game.
Technically,
what makes it that?
Technically, they have a ton of players playing the game because they're all on Battle.net. But really, the meat of the game is 5-man dungeon crawling.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Diablo, so.
But technically, they're considering it's a lot. It's a lot of those like really. This is, but it isn't. Like, and you're right. This is more like, look, logically, you're right, but they're not marketing it like that.
No,
they're marketing this shit as StarCraft Universe.
Well, and
yeah, but there will be a cease and desist because they are an actual studio. And how are they going to make money? And the minute they make money, done.
And I agree with you, and yet they made the money and nothing's happened to them.
Yeah.
That's where I'm so spellbound by this. It's like, how? how does this project exist? I know how it exists, but like the hypothetical how. What the fuck? How did you get away with this, and how can I get some of that?
Mm-hmm.
What did you do? What magic did you cast? What curse did you put on somebody? What? Oh, I want in. I want in.
Yeah, and basically from the footage that I like, there's a ton of trailers and stuff like that. And so basically what it is, you create your character and you choose which faction what you want to do, and you're in a giant ship that's apparently like 4 football fields long, and you're going from one place to another planet that's in a different universe, and it's basically dungeon or like randomly generated dungeons while you're on the ship. While you're on the ship, you can be attacked by one of the 3 factions. You might have to deal with solar flares. You might have to deal with random space stuff, which causes you to go around to different sections defending by attacking or using specific things like shields and different parts of your ship, turning them on and off. It's basically like a live version of like every episode of Star Trek. And then you get to the planet, and then those are procedurally generated dungeons.
You're the away team.
Yeah. That's what it is. And you
This
go
thing
from
is baffling to me.
you go from
I
one
have
planet
no
to another.
idea.
So you can go to the
Now
same
you see,
planet.
like
You can go to the same planet 5 times, and each time will be different because it's procedurally generated.
yeah. It's just, but people have been playing it. There's a subreddit for it. They're saying, yeah, it's open beta. It's still buggy as shit. And looking at it, it's StarCraft 2 assets, all right. That's great from an RTS perspective. Nah, from a third-person action perspective.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
The UI needs some serious work. But they have to use the Blizzard assets, so.
Yep.
Or else they don't have that game anymore. Like, well, we changed something. No longer our game. Go fuck yourself.
Why don't we hop into Red Moon? And we have a couple of pieces of Legion news left. So why don't we hop into that?
So WildStar, if you haven't been listening to us, is a game from NCSoft and Carbine Studios. They have a new raid coming out called the Red Moon Terror, and they've officially released it on PTR, 2 of the 3 wings. So obviously it's a 3-wing instance with 3 different names: Red Moon Rising, Red Moon Mutiny, and then the 3rd wing, which will show up later, possibly after the release of the first 2 wings on live, which is Red Moon Horror. And it's you and your group of adventurers from either the Alliance, the Exiles, or the Dominion. And you're going to a new area where the Red Moon Marauders have taken over, and it's also returning a bunch of major lore characters. One of which I don't want to spoil from you, but I'll simply say Skullcano with only a set pack, and fuck you! And then also Leveka, the dark caller Draken character you meet from the Draken Chua starting area.
Mm-hmm.
She plays a huge part of it as well. So I've exhausted most of my forms of WildStar communication, people that still raid and are on the PTR, and so far no one from my connections have been able to give me firsthand accounts. But I give you something better, because in our show notes and links, I have older alpha footage from Ox and from Wildweave when they were still really, really active, showing you what early builds of the Red Moon Terror stuff will look like, including a boss fight with Swabi Skeely, which takes place on like this bridge, and there's this really fun mechanics running back and forth with it that have to do a lot of it's really, really positioning heavy, which is really, really cool. Like most of WildStar is, but even this is testing every little bit of reaction timing you have and your memorization for patterns and your way to react to the weird shit happening to you. So Red Moon Terror, it's got a lot to live up to. There's a lot happening to it on PTR right now. If you get a chance to play it, if you have a signature account in WildStar, you actually do have access to PTR as well. So download that and give it a shot and see what you think. If I can get on there myself, I would love to show you guys or give my impressions of it. And still has some of the best fucking music in MMOs. I honestly cannot think of many MMOs that have such memorable soundtracks. And it's goddamn great.
Agreed.
Like I said,
There's so much artistic going on in WildStar. It's just amazing.
It needs more love, and that's because we're honestly biased. Let's not kid ourselves. We all do the Let's Plays, or we had a podcast that was WildStar centric, even though we gave it shit at times. We still thought this game, the Red Moon Terror, is out on PTR. Go check it out. It should be live in about a month, they're speculating, and that should be at least the first 2 wings, Red Moon Rising and Red Moon Mutiny. Red Moon Horror will probably show up on the PTR within the next month or 2, theoretically, for testing, and then from there it'll take a little while before the wings get shown up. And if it's anything like the last tier of rating, it's gonna be a fun slog, because I've done a little bit of rating for not Datascape, Genetic Archives, which is their lower tier rating, and that shit was awesome, and it is brutal. It'll kick your teeth in the best way.
Awesome. So that's kind of it for WildStar. The last little thing we're going to go into is WoW Legion news. So if you guys had pre-ordered the game, you guys will actually have access to build your Demon Hunter on August 9th instead of the 30th, like everyone else, all the other plebs out there. Demon Hunters will start at level 98 and do a little pre-generated world just for Demon Hunters to level 100, where you will then join everyone else in the world. If you don't want to pre-order like Atarock, you can play it on the 30th though. So
I'm okay with that.
I thought you pre-ordered it though.
Nope. I like I said, I just have not been interested in pre-ordering for a long time because of other games I pre-ordered that I've had issues with.
Yeah,
so
but
I can wait.
Oh, see, I thought you pre-ordered it because it came with the... Oh, no, maybe that was Krug. Pre-ordered it because it had the Draenor expansion and a couple other things with it.
Yeah, I think that was Krug that did it to catch
It
up
was
with us.
Krug that did it.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
because all I needed was Warlords, because I hadn't played Warlords yet.
Gotcha. And then the last little thing is apparently Legion is going to do an audio drama, which was announced at San Diego Comic-Con, but I didn't know a damn thing about this until today.
There's not a whole lot to it either. It's talking about the Tomb of Sargeras, which is going to be part of the prelude to the Broken Isles. This is all conjecture.
Yes.
This is me throwing out every lore stop I can to kind of figure out where this is fitting in the timeline.
Yeah.
Most likely, this is probably going to follow the Gul'dan. I'm throwing it out there now. It'll be released on the 1st. That makes sense. Because part of him going the Broken Isles is where the Tomb of Sargeras is. It also ties into the Legion coming into the world, ties into them finding Illidan's body again, ties into Gul'dan, going into the Nightborn and saying, I need your fucking gateway, give it to me or I'll wreck your shit. So I guarantee you this will be a very small cast. I'm guaranteeing you almost.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's probably just like 3 to 5.
And I bet it'll be in the same vein as the Harbinger series, where it's going to be much more super dramatic.
Yeah.
Than just being an audio drama where it's like, hey, and they went to this place and these things happened and, oh, look, someone died. Here's the skull. We win. It'd be continued to the game. But it's really fun to have these like tie-in things now. WildStar had the comics. WoW has the Harbinger videos. Crowfall has their animation segments they do live on Twitch. So all these tie-ins to these games that are getting the hype for it. I love it because it really ties in the game. It really makes you hype for the game. Like I said, the Warcraft comics, I've had time to go over them. There's so much good stuff in them that you will never see in the actual game because they're meant to just fill in backstory if you want it, but it's not imperative.
You mean
know.
Giving us lore in a means that is more entertaining than reading a giant text block?
I'll give you the links to all 4 of those comics, and you will you'll actually like that. But
no, I like the comics. I like the Harbinger videos that they've been doing. Like, I'm gonna give the Legion audio drama a listen to. I like that stuff instead of just having to read text blocks. That's boring. That's unimaginative.
There's an add-on that changes that turns the WoW quest text into like Guild Wars 2 style cutscenes.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, do you want to go over /fail or you want to end the show off right now?
We have a few minutes left, and I just thought it was funny. We're gonna put links in the show notes. We'll put them in the chat as well. And I just wanted to show you guys, and then also our listeners at home, that they've changed advertising very much so for video games. And someone on the internet dug up an old Ultima Online commercial circa 1998, and someone else dug up an old EverQuest launch video from 99, and then I found a 30-second TV spot for Legion, which is like from a few months ago. It's awesome how it's become such a recognized medium where all you need now is just fucking movie style cinematography.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. It's getting
versus
they realize that like getting people in like there you have to realize the markets are so different then. Like the market before them is like, all right, we have to get people to convince them that they want to play video games. This is now like we already know that video games is big. Now make this fucking epic.
Here's the awesome thing I noticed that people won't see it at first. If you watch 2 videos of Ultima Online EverQuest, there's a lot of in-game footage.
Yeah.
Anytime you see a trailer nowadays for MMO, almost never shows in-game footage on the first 2 or 3 trailers.
And it irritates the hell out of me.
It's like you're like one step away from lying to me. But I also love the fact that Ultimate Line says, play with thousands of your closest friends.
Like, first of all, I don't have thousands of close friends, all right?
I barely have YouTubers friends.
And if you have thousands of close friends, there's no way in hell you have time to play an MMO. Just like, in all seriousness. That's a
I just love
full-time
the
job.
fact that it was like their number was, oh, well, I mean, Ultimate Online, fuck it. 10,000 people max, probably? Yeah, play with thousands of your friends. Come play with us.
Yeah,
now
yeah.
It's like, you've lost 3 million players? Oh, it sucks to be you, motherfucker. Like, your shit's done. Peace out. Pack up. Go home. You're done. Like that. The times have changed drastically. I thought it was funny to have that like little nostalgia trip. But really, that does wrap up Slash Yell notes for this week. And Dizzarian, I thank you very much for joining us this week.
You bet, guys. This was
And if
fun.
anybody's interested, Dizzarian, here's your chance, man. Tell us anything you're doing, where you can find you again, and just it's all yours.
All right. Well, if you love MMOs, you definitely want to be subscribed to my YouTube channel, which is Dizzarian. And I play all the MMOs on there. I play EverQuest 2 and Secret World and Star Trek Online. And if it's an MMO, I'm eventually going to get around to playing it. And I do some very succinct playthroughs. It's not like you're going to get the boring parts. I cut it through, where you're only seeing the good stuff. So they get well received, so you definitely want to check that out. And like I said, you can find me anywhere on the internet as Dizzarian. I'm on Twitch, although I don't broadcast, but I'm on Twitter. So if you find Dizzarian, that's me.
Awesome. And you said you're doing the Star Trek Let's Plays through soon.
Yes,
this week, right?
and it's a brand new one. So it's Star Trek Online recently released their patch, the Agents of Yesterday, I think is what it's called. And so when you first start out, you're starting out like in the old Star Trek, and it's really fun to see all of that content. And that's what I'm covering right now.
Nice.
Awesome. Very, very cool.
And Indigo, where can we find you?
You guys, the easiest way to find me is actually hitting me up on Twitter, which is IndigoQT. You can also email me if that's your preferred means of communication at indigo@QueueTimes.com. If you want to hit up Adderrock, Krug, or myself, you can also email us at yell@QueueTimes.com, or you can hit us up on Twitter at _QueueTimes. Adderrock, what about you? Where can people find you?
Best place to find me, really the only place to find me on the internet nowadays, is at AdRockDraws on Twitter. I'm trying to I now have more free time. I might be able to get some more streaming in for some projects I'm working on, including a comic book that we're developing with a writer and a few other friends. Should be pretty fun if you're fans of like Twin Peaks or Hellboy or Gravity Falls. So hopefully I can get some of that going this week. I also have an Atlas Reactor video coming out for Nyx, if you're curious about that, a freelancer breakdown. And I believe Asana is after that. I have the audio done for those two. That should be coming up shortly.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Thank you guys so much for watching us. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, make sure to give us a like and a comment down below. It super helps out. Everyone that's watching us live, thank you for joining us. Make sure to tell your friends about it. It also helps out having the interaction with you guys during the show. And if you guys are listening to us on the podcast, thank you guys so much as well. Go ahead and give us a rating. It allows, not only does it help us out, make ourselves better to find out what you guys like and dislike, but also helps other people to find us so that we can grow in odds. And is Adderrock playing Pokemon again?
Fuck, I'm 0.05 kilometers away from hatching the stupid egg.
Oh my God.
Also, that Pidgey earlier threw quarter up, it ran away.
Anyways,
I didn't catch it.
Thank you so much for joining us this week. Dizzarian, anytime you want to come back, just seriously hit us up. We would love to have you on again.
All right, I'll definitely be back, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We also have Quarter Up, which we would love to have you on as well. So until then, guys, I'll see you guys on the forums.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
And Krug
You still had to do the kiss?
Yes.